The Great East Japan Earthquake of March 11, 2011, created outbursts of solidarity from the global community. One of the most moving came from Professor Donald Keene, the internationally renowned scholar of Japanese literature and culture. This illustrious professor, author, and translator requested Japanese citizenship because he has decided to live permanently in Tokyo. In his own words, Professor Keene wants to be close to the Japanese people as they rebuild and recover from the disasters of 3/11/2011. Many years ago, when Donald Keene was studying at Columbia University, he read The Tale of Genji in one of his courses. This book ignited his passion for Japan and Japanese literature. After graduating in 1942, Keene joined the Navy, studied Japanese, and served as an intelligence officer and translator in the Pacific. When World War II ended, he returned to Columbia and earned a doctorate in Japanese literature. From 1955 until his retirement in April 2011, he was Professor of Japanese Literature at Columbia University. Professor Keene's qualifications are exemplary. He speaks and writes fluent Japanese. During his illustrious career, he has authored over 25 books, translated important Japanese works, and edited several anthologies of Japanese literature. In addition to 9 honorary degrees, Professor Keene has received many important awards and prizes for his outstanding contributions to Japanese culture. In 2008, the Japanese government presented him with the Bunka Kunsho Award. He is the first foreign national to receive this honor. Professor Keene's connection with Japan goes far beyond literature and culture. What he loves most are the people. He appreciates the kindness that they have always shown him. He admires their love of nature. He respects the values that guide their lives, in particular their courage, their energy, and especially their ability to work together for the good of the community. In Japan, he feels at home. That is why he wants to be a Japanese citizen. Thanks to his tireless efforts, Professor Keene has built a bridge of understanding between Japan and the West. He is an intercultural ambassador.
Women's soccer used to be dominated by Western athletes. Then, in July of 2011, everything changed when Japan's national team, nicknamed Nadeshiko, beat the U.S. and won the 2011 FIFA Women's World Cup. The entire nation went wild with enthusiasm and celebrated this wonderful victory. The highlight of these celebrations took place in Zurich on January 9, 2012. At the Ballon d'Or, FIFA's gala event, Japan received 3 trophies. Homare Sawa, the dynamic captain, was honored as Player of the Year. A first-time award for any Asian athlete, female or male. Norio Sasaki was named Women's Coach of the Year. Last but not least, the Japan Football Association was given the FIFA Fair Play Trophy. At this gala, Homare Sawa wore a gorgeous kimono and was the center of attention. Journalists from all over the world flocked around her. She graciously thanked her family and friends for their support, her teammates for their hard work, and her coach for his inspirational leadership. Then, with respect and humility, she dedicated the Nadeshiko victory to the people of Japan, especially those in the areas devastated by the tragedy of 3/11. She hoped that the team's success would give them the courage to rebuild and the energy to move forward. The nation had conquered adversity in the past and could do so again in the future. The Nadeshiko victory has uplifted the spirit of the entire nation, which is still recovering from the Great East Japan earthquake. It gives hope to every woman, man, and child that Japan can recover from this terrible disaster. The teamwork of the Nadeshiko players proves that working together is the key to overcoming challenges. The remarkable story of the Nadeshiko women teaches important lessons about life to all of us, Japanese and non-Japanese alike. First, we must remember the can-do philosophy. When we believe in ourselves, we can succeed. Second, we must be willing to work hard and make sacrifices to reach our goal. Third, we must learn how to work together. A team is stronger and more resilient than an individual. Without self-confidence, dedication, and teamwork, this victory would not have been possible. Congratulations to the Nadeshiko team.
Steve Jobs was a visionary with the courage to follow his dreams and the energy to make them come true. Thanks to his remarkable creativity, he has changed how we communicate. He has also expanded how we access information. On June 12, 2005, Jobs delivered the commencement address at Stanford University. In this moving speech, he shared his philosophy of life with the audience. The message was positive and uplifting, although the previous year Jobs had been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Jobs began his speech by pointing out the importance of discovering what you want to do in life. Everyone is born with a talent. The question is whether you can find it or not. According to Jobs, the best way to find your talent is curiosity. To prove the point, Jobs explained how, as a teen, he had taken a calligraphy course simply because it interested him. 10 years later, he remembered what he had learned in that class and included it in the first Macintosh computer. That's why you can choose different fonts and typefaces on your PC. Next, Jobs stressed the importance of doing what you love. When you love your work, the quality will improve. Jobs explained how the board of directors at Apple fired him, although he was the company's founder and president. Despite this setback, he did not lose his creativity. In fact, he was more motivated than ever to create new technologies. In a few years, he founded 2 new highly successful companies. Then, in an unexpected turn of events, Apple invited its former president to return and lead the company. The rest is history. Under Jobs' leadership, Apple became one of the great success stories in business. In closing, Jobs reminded the audience that life is full of new beginnings. Since graduation is one of these important transitions, he wanted to share with the audience the following advice. Live your life to the fullest. Stop worrying about other people's opinions and follow your dreams. Bear in mind that if you have curiosity and courage, you can succeed in anything. Then your dreams can come true. After all, that's how Steve Jobs lived his life. This story starts in the winter. On a cold December day in 2005, a baby dolphin got caught in the ropes of a crab trap off the west coast of Florida. The little dolphin nearly died as she tried to get free. Fortunately, a local fisherman rescued the baby and took her to a nearby marine aquarium. There, the doctors were able to save the little dolphin. Unfortunately, they had to amputate her tail to avoid infection. The staff named her Winter because she had been rescued in December. Kevin Carroll, a renowned prosthetist, heard the touching story about Winter and wanted to help. Although she could swim without her tail, she was using the wrong muscles. Carroll knew that eventually these unnatural movements would damage her spine. The only solution was to create an artificial tail for winter. At this point, Carol asked a friend and colleague named Dan Strzemka to assist him in this project. Strzemka understood the importance of prosthetics because, as a child, he had lost a leg in an accident. From personal experience, he knew about the problems caused by prosthetic devices. Making an artificial tail was a challenging project. Along with the staff, the two friends had to retrain Winter to swim the way dolphins should, that is, moving the tail up and down. To help her readjust, they first fitted her with a small tail. Then gradually, over the course of a year, they increased the size of the artificial tail until it matched her body size. Next, they needed to reduce the skin irritation caused by the artificial tail. Dolphins have extremely delicate skin. Working with a chemical engineer, the two men developed a special gel which reduced the irritation in Winter's tail. They named this product Winter's Gel in her honor. Winter has become a celebrity since the release of the film Dolphin Tale, which is based on her remarkable recovery. People, especially combat veterans and young amputees, come from all over to see Winter. Watching her swim happily with her artificial tail gives them hope. When Winter stops swimming and gives them that special dolphin smile, they smile too and are inspired to follow her example.
My grandmother was a wise woman who taught me many important lessons about life. Whenever I refused to finish my dinner or forgot to turn off the water, she always said, "Waste not, want not." With this simple phrase, she was telling me not to waste anything. After all, if you waste something today, you may need it tomorrow. Compared to the U.S., Japan is a nation where people are more careful about conserving precious resources. To save paper, they carry small towels for drying their hands. To save wood, they choose maihashi, that is, personal chopsticks, over disposable wooden ones. To reduce trash, many are now using traditional furoshiki to wrap packages. Recently, the Japanese have become more sensitive to the message of Mottainai, which expresses disapproval and even criticism of waste. It's difficult to give an exact English translation of Mottainai because this word refers to much more than wasting resources. It also reminds people not to waste time, energy, and emotions so that they can follow their dreams and realize their potential. The recent surge of Mottainai awareness is due in particular to Wangari Maathai, a Kenyan environmentalist who won a Nobel Prize in 2004. The following year, she was invited to visit Japan by the newspaper Mainichi Shimbun. Inspired by the nation's respect for nature, she borrowed the Japanese term Mottainai and named her program for environmental conservation the Mottainai Campaign. Ms. Maathai soon became a national celebrity. As she explained to her Japanese audiences, Mottainai summed up perfectly the principles of her belief that protecting the environment promotes peace and harmony. When speaking about the Mottainai movement, Ms. Maathai becomes very enthusiastic. She asks her audiences what will happen to this planet without environmental responsibility. Then she quickly reminds them that if they continue to waste the planet's resources, the next generations have to suffer the consequences. People are so moved by the power of her message that they join her campaign. Thanks to the efforts of this special African lady, the concept of Mottainai has been exported all over the world.